Well, viewers, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Your 4x4. I'm Simon Christie. Now, we're going to be catching up later with Danny Sparks Cousins when we look at all of the competitions and prizes on offer. But this episode, a very one dear to me, we're heading for the Portland area in Western Victoria. Your 4x4 is proudly presented by Berrima Diesel, ARB 4x4 accessories, Piranha off-road products, Kmart rear end protection, wholesale automatic transmissions and Lightforce performance lighting.
Hi, I'm Rodney from Wholesale Automatic Transmissions, and thanks to a generous invitation from Simon and Miranda Christie of Your 4x4, we've come down to the far southwest of Victoria, just outside of Portland.
Portland has one of the first deep water ports in Victoria and also one of the very first places settled. A little bit further up the coast is another port, Port Fairy. And that was also a very famous whaling station way back in the 1834s. This is the sort of thing that we get to experience when you get out there on the tracks and get some interesting history behind you. So not only out there on some really great tracks that we've been able to do today, even though we had a lot of rain last night, we've also got fantastic history behind all of the trips that we do. So we like to build in some history, find out about where you are and why you're there.
Hi guys, David Brickhill from Kmart 4-Wheel Drive. Well, here we are again, out in the bush having an absolute ball of a time. We've come up from Portland this morning and done some of the nice little forest tracks and have come up to a place called Mount Clay.
Yeah, that's nice, Scotty. Cheers, cool.
The Portland area sits in the far southwest corner of Victoria, and the Mount Clay State Forest lays just north of the township, elevated on the old seashore. The area offers easy to mild four-wheel driving depending on the weather, but steeped in history, boasting some sandy sections and lushly vegetated, Mount Clay is well worth a half-day visit. OK, we could have moved this fallen tree, but the opportunity to see how each vehicle cleared it was teasing our dusty crew. So for most of us it was a simple crawl in first gear low range. But when it came time for the DP Chip Pathfinder, a little track building was the order of the day. With David providing clear guidance and a few minor adjustments along the way, even the low-slung Pathy made it through unscathed. Moving on, we trekked eastward along the southern flank of the forest, heading for the Whalers Watch Lookout and the Sawpit Picnic Ground. Easy trails kept the pace up, and the odd rough section kept things interesting. There were a couple of steep sections that would have been fun in the wet, but in this condition they were simply dusty. Just happy to be out and about. We were just a few minutes away from our first rest point at the Sawmill Picnic Ground and the historic and breathtaking Whalers Watch Lookout.
We're on Mount Clay. We've been travelling on the tracks all this morning. We've had some great time. The wind's a bit blustery. We had a good downpour this morning. The tracks are a little bit tricky, but they've dried out nicely.
Whalers Lookout looks south over the Bay of Portland and is the point where local Aboriginals stood watch to notify the town's whalers of any whale activity. Just one part of the strong connection Portland has with the local Gunditjmara tribe, the area has plenty to offer and, like most destinations, is well worth researching as part of your trip preparation. Joining Miranda and myself for this trip were David from Kmart in the Prado, Rod and Tina in the Wholesale Autos Triton, Jason in the Light Force Navara, Dennis from Piranha driving the Land Rover, Andrew from DP Chip in the Pathfinder, and Matt from ARB in his FJ Cruiser.
We've come across a couple of dust bowls. It's a great place with a great group of friends.
The rest of the day we're going to spend going through some lovely areas of the forest area and all the way up through Portland here, and then finishing up back at Portland tonight for dinner.
So come with us on the next part of the trip and we'll show you some great stuff.
I'm enjoying the day greatly and I can't wait. So I'm out of here. I'm going to keep on going with these guys and I'll catch you later.
Well, this week's entry comes from Natalie Dover, and Natalie has written, "I love our 4x4 because it takes us everywhere. You can go fast, but I can go anywhere."
For sending in that email, you've won yourself a Light Force tack torch and stubby holder. All entries go into the running for the ARB twin motor portable compressor, the projector inverter, and the amazing Carryboy canopy worth $3,500. Thanks to all of the sponsors, and check the website for full details. Does your diesel smoke, lack power, or have poor fuel economy? Then you need the Berrima Diesel treatment. Fine-tuning diesels since 1956, the Berrima Diesel technicians are Australia's leading diesel wizards. From a turbo installation to a high-tech dyno tune, when you think diesel, think Berrima Diesel. Visit thedieselexperts.com and make an appointment for more power, more torque and better fuel economy. Driving an automatic four-wheel drive off-road can be downright dangerous. But for all you auto owners, help is now at hand. The auto experts at Wholesale Automatic Transmissions now offer complete 4x4 and off-road kits for most popular four-wheel drives. If you need to improve your towing capabilities, need more control for descents, or just want your auto beefed up for improved performance, then contact Wholesale Automatic Transmissions and they'll ship what you need worldwide. Check the website for details.
Sometimes the front runners lead from behind, and when it comes to protecting your rear, Kmart are world leaders in rear end protection and tow bar combinations. The just released Prado 150 is no exception, with a bar that is designed to follow the car's lines and work with your sensors and factory camera. For the best in rear end protection, trust Kmart. It's a statement, not just an accessory, but the toughest of 4x4 trips. For more info, go to kmart.com.au.
Well, it's been another great day today. It's started off with pretty poor weather early this morning, but fortunately it's been fine for most of the day, and that really made the four-wheel driving this afternoon as we went out through to Mount Eccles State Forest.
Hi, my name's Matt from ARB Regency Park in Adelaide. It's fantastic to once again join Simon and Miranda Christie on one of their adventures with all of the sponsors for YOUR4X4 and 4-wheel drive TV. We've had a brilliant day here and just wanted to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing the last few hours. We've had a pretty spectacular day here today. It started off quite changeable this morning, incredibly windy, but it's fined up very, very nicely now. Spectacular blue skies, beautiful temperature. We started off over at Mount Clay, which was some pretty difficult terrain there, but then we headed over to Mount Eccles, and then we wended our way through some pretty rough tracks.
The fence line we covered hadn't been driven for quite some time. Even amazing was that the tracks were actually quite dusty, even though they had this rain this morning. So we followed the fence line all the way through the Mount Eccles State Forest and then gradually across the lava plains. Well, this was really something, I can assure you. These great big boulders all over the place, manipulating and articulating our vehicles as we got them to get across all of the lava plains and the lava rocks. We wound our way through a track, and I don't think anybody's been on this track for years, maybe. As we then got into the middle of the forest, lo and behold, you couldn't believe it, there was a high man-made fence made out of these lava rocks.
Everyone's been kind enough to let us stop every 4 hours to feed our special little guest. He's a 5-month-old wallaby named Phoenix. When you get little babies in, they need 4-hourly feeds, and been quite good. They've been happy to stop for us and let us do his feeds and all the things that we need to do, and I must say he's been travelling quite well as well, so that's pretty good.
The rocky driving through the area is just magnificent and gave the suspension a real workout, but I think just the whole difference of the areas that we'd been up until that point became a dense forest with a lot of rocky outcrops and a lot of rocky areas.
I thought it looked like windrows through the trees. In fact, when we started to have a closer look, it was actually rows of volcanic rocks. It was probably the most unusual tight scrub landscape that I've probably ever seen. It was just like thousands of pumice stones all piled on top of each other, probably like Fraser Island. It's sort of grown with leaf matter dropping down. Same with those stones, because actually the track wasn't too rough, pretty bouncy, but it was amazing what was growing in between. And I think it was about 30,000 years old.
After we wound our way through some more quite difficult tracks and with the cars bouncing around all over the place, we got onto a lava formation called a natural bridge.
We headed around to a natural bridge formed by a lava flow as well. You can wander down there down a set of steps and it's quite spectacular.
Absolutely amazing big chasm. You're able to walk in under there and you could actually see up the top where the bridge and the road had actually gone across at some stage. Also walking through that area was the rocks itself. The gravel that was on the ground that we were walking on was very, very light and very aerated because it was old volcanic rock. So it was really impressive to see, and another lovely part of Victoria to come and see.
You can't get to these places if you can't have a four-wheel drive, and that's what it's really doing. That's what makes this trip with Simon and Miranda so wonderful, getting to see places to share with you at home. So maybe you'll get off the couch one day and go out there and explore it as well as we have.
As long as it makes me smile for a little while.
We ended up at Lake Surprise, a gigantic volcanic crater that's been left behind many, many moons ago, and now has a wonderful little lake in it, full of fish, wildlife, great little walk down to the edge if you're that keen.
Now all I got in my pockets is silver, just enough for a bus ride home, but that's okay. I could have just wasted it. Yeah, could have just wasted it.
I think it was about 700 metres across, had quite a bit of water in it, and it would have been lovely to actually get down there and swim, but It's been blowing about a 30-knot gale today, pretty cool, so we thought we'd give it a miss.
Apparently you can do fishing in bits and pieces. Quite amazing to see it all. The whole group was actually quite enthused about it all. Even the wife was quite impressed with it.
Beautiful piece of water, just an amazing area, and an area that we've never been up to before and didn't realise these sort of areas were down here in the bottom of Victoria.
But it seems I'm blessed, thank God. The Panadine and Ansel, you're a pussycat with 9 lives, and I'm a dog, and when I die, I die. But could have just wasted it. Could have just wasted it. Lord, it makes me smile. Could have just wasted it.
Well, Simon, the question this week comes from Craig Geary, and Craig wants to know what a diesel particulate filter is, and can you remove it to increase fuel economy and power? Now, I think Reinhard Leimeroth from Berriman Diesel will be the person to answer this one.
A particulate filter is another exhaust scrubber, you could call it. There is a catalytic converter after the exhaust, and then there is a particulate filter. Particulate is to get the soot out of the exhaust, and it should be really quite clean. A simple way to check it, if you've got one, you'll run your finger on the exhaust pipe. It should be clean in there. If it is black, well, it usually has not got a particulate filter. They are very susceptible to problems, mainly out here because people who drive in the city drive short distance, stop starting, don't run it hot, and that filter blocks up and it can eventually melt down, and it is a very expensive item to replace. On some vehicles you can remove it, we shouldn't. I mean, it's part of the EPA. In general, it is not a bad thing to have for the environment by itself. It runs a clean exhaust at the back, which we do want. If you have got one once a week or once every 2 weeks, you should give it a good sharp run somewhere to get the exhaust temperature up. Because in general, people just amble along the city and whatever, and that particulate filter doesn't get hot. They get up to 1,000 degrees when they're really hot and burn out. And it's done through the injection system. They either inject fuel straight into the exhaust system, or they'll change the timing or put the fuel up in other directions to increase the exhaust temperature. That's why vehicles with particulate filters often have the complaint that they have higher fuel consumption, because it's when it regenerates, they have to get fuel into it. And of course that creates heat, and it should clean it out. So it's an important thing that every so often you give this vehicle a good nice run, ideally with a bit of load, not speeding of course, and to get some heat into it, to burn it out, to clean the rubbish out virtually. That's what it is.
For asking that question, you've won yourself a Piranha Clamp It. All entries go into the running for the Wholesale Automatics full automatic transmission kit, including a heavy-duty valve body, converter lockup switch and temperature gauge. A Lightforce HID 50-watt set of 170mm strikers. The Black Widow premium awning and the RFI antenna kit.
To truly see the road ahead, some drivers need ESP. Others simply choose Lightforce. Welcome to Lightforce country, where your safety is our vision.
Whether you've got ESP or not, Lightforce Performance Lighting is the smart choice. If you drive a four-wheel drive with or without a dual battery kit, then it's time to upgrade. Modern vehicles and modern battery technologies require smart electronics, and the Piranha Off-Road Products DBE140 dual battery controller has all the smart grunt you will need packed into an affordable and tiny package. Priced at just $170, the Piranha DBE140 is the smart choice in dual battery management. For more information on how you can stay charged, visit piranhaoffroad.com.au.
The next generation of shock absorbers is here. Leading the way in 4x4 suspension development, Old Man Emu introduces the most advanced and finely tuned shock absorber on the market. Nitro Charger Sport incorporates a new valving system that instantly adapts to all terrain for an outstanding smooth ride and phenomenal control. Backed by a 3-year, 60,000 kilometre warranty, you can trust Nitro Charger Sport, built in Australia for Australian conditions.
This week's first entry is this tidy looking turbo diesel Hilux, out for another great adventure in the Lancelin Dunes. Next is this great looking 80 series Land Cruiser, set up to tackle some tough tracks. This pic was taken on a fire trail near Moss Vale. Now this sure looks like a great trip. The Discovery 4 is parked on the Wacker Claypan on the way to Cameron Corner. This 90 series Prado is the owner's first rig and pretty well stocked, but it still gets him out to some great destinations. This shot was taken at the mouth of the Coorong in South Australia. And our last photo is this short wheelbase Pajero, taken on a long weekend trip to Udale's Hut in northern New South Wales.
If you've just seen your photo, be the first to email Danny at your4x4.com.au and you'll win the Projector DC20 12 volt to 12 volt charger. All photos go into the major draw of a Kmart rear bar, a Berrima DP chip and a Travel Buddy oven. Check the website for full details.
We shot out to the west and get to the State Forest, and that included getting under a power line track, and I suppose a few of you have been on those and they can be a bit rough. This wasn't too bad, so we got through there, continued on out through the State Forest, and then on the way back over towards Cape Bridgewater. Here we actually stopped to look at some limestone caves carved out of the cliffwork by the strong winds in the area, but you could park underneath, crawl into the caves and have a good look around.
Walked up to the top of the caves and had a look through there. I haven't seen these caves before, so it was quite entertaining.
Really interesting place to come and see, and not too far from where all the other places we've been to today.
I'm getting rid of the things I thought that I wanted. You soon learn you don't really need it. You just need...
It's a little walk up the hill there, and what a magnificent view over the ocean. And can't wait to get down into that bay area to have another look and see what else is around.
I'm getting way overloaded, but
I tell you what, it was pretty exciting. Haven't been to those before. We loved having a look at that.
I need someone to help me and somewhere to put my things. And I would love to stay on a while and get used to all of this.
Cruise down the coast, headed over to Bridgewater Bay, and some absolutely amazing scenery out to the coast, waves rolling in. Hugely windy, very, very cold, but we all survived because it's absolutely beautiful out there.
All the guidelines
From there, we went across, and you should have seen these great big windmills there for the power. Absolutely fantastic when you're up so close to them. They really look like they're going to chop you in half. These big power things were really good for Portland, I believe, but they're quite an amazing sight to see. From there, we had a look around the blowhole. There was a big blowhole area there. The sea was quite turbulent. Simon was down there having a really close look and getting some close shots. Quite an amazing area. You can see how windswept it really is, and you know why those rotors are there, because there's plenty of wind.
Wandered around a little bit further around the coast to the blowhole and also to the petrified forest, and everybody was absolutely blown away by the beautiful scenery that's in this area. It's definitely a must-see destination for anybody who lives in Victoria or anywhere near it.
And then we come over into the cave area that we've met today, and we spent quite a long time. All of us got down in there. We probably spent about an hour and a half wandering through all the caves. Didn't matter which corner you went around, it just kept on going. There's more nooks and crannies and places that you could venture into.
We topped off the end of the day here down in the underground cave with Simon, and yeah, that was quite fun.
In the place of Kamara, busy island.
We found a couple of fungi growth in there as well. We spent quite a lot of time crawling through all there, and then we made our way back out. It's been an amazing time on this trip. Enjoyed it immensely, and I can't wait to do it again. Can't wait to get back.
Well guys, what an absolutely awesome episode it's been. I certainly hope you've enjoyed our four-wheel driving around the area of Portland, from the forests right through to the coast, and here we are finishing up in the caves. Thanks to Danny for holding the fort at home. Thanks to the team, and we'll see you next week on Your 4x4 when we cross over to the sand dunes. Big episode next week.